It's 94.7 Blair Radio, our nonprofit news brought to us by RVR Bank. Today, we continue our conversation as we do a couple times a month. Mr. Jake Dunn comes in talking about what's happening with the city of Blair and the surrounding area. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
And so, as we get into, I want to say almost fall time. There's a lot of different things that people want to ask questions about, but I know that there's something coming up, a meeting that we want to talk about that is really kind of highlighting what you guys are working on for being able to have interactive, safe streets, and actually it has something to do with that, right?
Exactly. 100%. So I know we've talked about it before. There is a page dedicated on our website, blairne.gov, about the Safe Streets for All program that we're in the process of doing. And so just a background on this program, it's all about developing a comprehensive safety action plan. The roads and streets and walkways, trails in the city of Blair are already safe, but how can we make them safer? And through a federally funded grant, the city is partnering with a consulting firm, SEH, to help develop an action plan to help better these streets. Like I said, we're already safe as it is. Some of the stats that they pulled over the last 10 years, Blair's experienced 850 reported crashes, with most being property damage and less than 3% involved a fatal or serious injury. I believe in that time, I think there was one fatality in the last 10 years. It's been, again, with 4 major highways that come into town, our streets, Public Works, everybody does a great job of maintaining our streets, ensuring adequate lighting and everything, but how can we make it better?
Right.
You can always take steps to the further. So that's what this Safe Streets for All is. You can go on our website onto the link, and you can drop pins and say, hey, I think this street needs to have a wider turn radius, or I think there needs to be a stop sign here. Whatever you think needs to be there, you could drop it in there. And then going into the meeting you're talking about next Tuesday, August 25th, from 4:30 to 6:30 at the Blair Public Library is open house number 1 for it. So okay. SEH will be here, representatives from the city of Blair will be here, and they can really give you a deep dive into what this plan's going to look like and how it's going to go about. It's not something that's fixed overnight. This is going to be a plan that's going to be built over the next year. We hope to be done by, I think it was spring of 2027 with the full plan. But this plan is also got a 5, 10, 15-year benchmark.
Right. Yeah, it's one of those things you have to then plan, then figure out the budgets and what can be done, because you can't just write a check for it all, right?
Exactly. And I'm glad you said that. That's one talking point, too, is that everybody's like, it's great, like one that's always talked about around through town is a pedestrian overpass over by Deerfield. So the kids don't have to cross the highway. That's a great idea. It's very expensive, but what this plan does is it checks the box for more federal grants for us to get funding for a crosswalk over the highway, or maybe we need to extend the trail or whatever it is. Because when we go out for these federal grants, they say, that's great that Blair thinks you need it, but is that truly what you need? And by going through and doing these actual, going through the plan, checking all the boxes in the plan, having an outside firm also come in and consult with us, we're showing that it's not just what Blair wants, it's what Blair needs, and it's proven with this data.
Right. But it takes people to get involved with it to be able to figure it out. And so that's where putting the pin on it and making your comments on the website link is important.
Yes, and you can see what other people put. It's an amazing little tool, and I encourage everybody that's on this team encourages everybody that if you see someone has dropped a pin at the location that you want, don't think that you don't want to drop one. Drop another one. The more pins, the more notoriety it gets. And so forth. And the action team that's working with the consulting firm, it's made up of City of Blair employees and residents from the community. So it's not just City of Blair. So those out there thinking that the city is going to sort of control the narrative of how, hey, they're going to, no, like there's a community-funded program or community-funded team that's working on this to ensure, there's representatives from the school, city. We got representatives from community groups throughout the town. So everybody's got a voice in this, and if you really want to have a voice, come to the open house, go to the website, and drop a pin.
So once this is put together and then the plan is made, and then what happens is information is distributed saying these are the priorities, this is how the order things will take place.
Exactly, and that's 100%. We'll let everybody know what the safety action plan, we'll release the safety action plan once it's finished. I mean, the goal, I believe, is spring of 2027 to finally get the comprehensive plan done with it, comprehensive safety plan, that is. But there's going to be discussions at city council meetings, so tune into the live feed that you guys do. Come out to the city council meetings. So, city council is going to be kept up to date as this program goes on, so they know what's going on and what's being expected of them. And, it's great to have this plan, but unless you have the governing body support it, so that's a big thing as we go through this, is you got to get support of the city council that they're going to back what this plan produces.
So next week is actually a big week. So you go to the plan, the informational meeting at the library till 6:30, then go over to the city council meeting to be able to hear more probably about stuff like this.
And it's exactly, and that's honestly why that meeting was set up, so you could attend both, because we do have, like I said, city employees, we got council members that'll be involved in this. That way they can get over to city council, and then I believe it's next Tuesday night at the council meeting that the council's going to come out and officially back this program. It was either last council they did it, or it's this upcoming one. I apologize, but showing the support, that's a big thing, is that the city's behind it and everything.
All right, and so again, plenty of time to get your information out there, right?
Oh yeah,
is between now and spring. Just keep hammering on that website. Really,
I can't stress it enough. Like I said, if your neighbor John Doe's already put in a comment for you, maybe your street you live on needs a little bit of help. The more notoriety, the more you could push that narrative is what you need. So pushing out there that this is what's needed. Don't just think that just one pin covers it all. We're going to look at the where the most need is.
All right. And so, again, that is at the Blair Public Library, and that is next Tuesday, 4:30 to 6:30?
Yep, 4:30, 6:30 at the library. And then the last thing, too, is that they wanted me to mention here with this is that the plan aims to build on Blair's safety successes and identify opportunities to make walking, biking, driving safer for everyone, especially children, older adults, and other vulnerable road users. So it's not just road, it's like I said, biking, the trails up at Nyhart and stuff like that. How can we make them safer, better lighting, better signage, and everything. So it's everything incorporated in the city.
All right, well, again, everybody has ideas, everybody has thoughts. Now you can share it and not have to worry about not being heard.
Exactly.
All right, so then that brings us into other things that are going on, because people always are already talking about what's happening, and they want to know information, and let's go ahead and share some of that.
All right, splash pad. It's a big question. We're getting a lot of. Splash pad is still open. Last year was the first year of the splash pad. We stayed open till November 7th. Friday, November 7th, we closed the splash pad for the year. Splash pad's going to stay open as long as we can so the residents can enjoy it. It just comes down to the lovely Nebraska weather. We don't want the pipes to freeze or anything, so we have to make sure that they're all set up for and winterized before the cold weather comes in. So that could be, it's open till end of September, and maybe we're Christmas morning we're playing at the splash pad. It just depends on what this Nebraska winter brings to us. So again, it's open. Enjoy it while you can, because again, you never know what the weather's going to do. We will make sure that we voice out on our social media and everything. Last year we gave a week notice. Hey, this is probably the last week for it. And then we gave a notice 2 days before it was closed. So we'll give notice throughout social media, so make sure you follow us. But expect that to be open hopefully for another month or two.
And with the fog and everything from last week, if you look at the 90 days, if you've ever heard that, 90 days after heavy fog, there's some type of severe weather coming. So that puts it right at the beginning of November.
I know, that's scary. I heard that Farmer's Almanac about how there's always moisture 90 days after. That's going to be a lot of snow or a lot of rain.
A lot of something. So we'll see how that all plays out. But until the weather turns, splash pad is open. It's good to know.
Exactly.
All right.
Next thing was the emergency sirens and notifications. So last week was sort of a pop-up, tornado warning that not many people were ready for. So I guess in August you think back to school, you think tornado season's over and everything. Obviously we're still in that severe weather season. So questions about the sirens came off. On our website we have a breakdown of the siren activation. So again, the tornado sirens, a 3-minute blast that has the same tone, and then we also have the fire and rescue sirens. They're the same sirens, they just do different tones. So tornado again is long 3-minute blast, all the same tone. Fire and rescue is going to be the one that fluctuates for about 30 seconds, and that's it. It goes up, it goes down. So there's a clear, distinct tell in that, so you know which one's which. But then also to do a little plug is our emergency alert notification. You know, make sure you sign up for emergency alerts. The weather alerts come straight from Omaha NWS, National Weather Service. So when they issue it out, you're getting it. Alerts went off that morning. You can sign up for any type of weather alert. And we also use that notification system for our non-emergency alerts. So water main breaks, traffic alerts that there's going to be some heavy construction affecting a good thoroughfare through the town or something like that. So again, push for the emergency alert notification system, because again, you know, maybe you don't hear the siren at 5 o'clock in the morning because you're sleeping good, but you hear your phone right next to you.
Right. And that's it's always good to have multiple ways to be able to do that, because, you know, you could get I get alerts from my phone saying, hey, there's a chance of something happening. But if it's more localized, saying this is actually happening here, it'll impact where you're at. So that's the more information, the better.
100%. And I mean, our emergency alert system, it is nice, but it has its dead spots, you know, cellular dead spots and stuff like that. Obviously, the sirens, they're always a good telltale sign. You know, the old school weather radios, making sure you have those on and batteries in. So I can't stress enough, like you said, have multiple ways to be notified.
All right. And so that is always good to know and be able to be prepared, because even when we get into the wintertime, there's other alerts that start coming up with different types of weather.
Snow squalls again.
Snow squalls. I think the past few years they've made up a lot of interesting terminology. So anyway, weather for pirates. Anyway, then you guys are continuing. Phil Green is wrapping up his time.
Yes. So Phil Green's last day will be the city council meeting next week. So next Tuesday is his last day. As soon as he wraps up city council, his tenure with the city of Blair will be done. So we're very thankful for the years of service, you know, both as the city administrator and then the assistant city administrator. He's given a lot to the city of Blair, but I want to remind everybody the city administrator search is still ongoing. We want to make sure that we get a good candidate that will come in and lead Blair into the future that everybody envisions. And so we're making sure we take our time and get that right candidate. And it's in essence, it's the CEO of the town that you want to make sure you get the right CEO that, you know, directs the town in the right direction.
All right. Well, it's not just anybody can step into that position.
Exactly.
There's some experience level that's needed.
Oh yeah, and again, like if you know anybody, we're still taking applications. There's a webpage on there's a page on our website that's dedicated to the hiring. It has a little pamphlet for people that live outside of the area that may be interested in coming.
Sure, and it gives all the details of all the requirements and what's going to happen. So make sure that, you know, again, pay attention to that. And then this week, you know, meetings every Tuesday.
Yeah, if we haven't gotten the point across in all of our previous meetings, every Tuesday night there's something going on in the city of Blair. So this Tuesday is going to be the library board. They meet at the library. And then you have the Park, Recreation, Cemetery Advisory Board. So they do all of our parks and rec and stuff up at the cemetery. They meet 5:30 tomorrow night, Tuesday, August 18th. And then immediately following them at 7 o'clock is the Airport Authority Board. So especially with everything going on at the airport, the construction, today the runway got shut. I believe today was the runway shutting down so they can do some work on the runway. There's a lot happening at that airport, which is great. And that's the number one place to find out what's going on, is going to that meeting.
And then Grant Street, that's getting wrapped up here pretty soon.
Yep, fingers crossed. Grant Street should be hopefully ramping up this week. It was when I talked to the crews last week, it was just curing time, so making sure it sits and everything. So I don't know how much the weather impacted it with the rain that we had, but Grant Street should be done this week.
And then Nighthart Park.
Nighthart Park's going. Yeah, Nighthart Park. One way in, one way out. I think that's going to be the end of September is roughly what they were looking at. Okay. About a 60-day project, could go up to 90 days. That's doing the pump station up there. There's not, knock on wood, I don't think there's any upcoming crazy projects. When they finish Grand Street down there in the 10th Street area, they're going to go down by the Public Works shop and fix something that's going to take about a day. Public Works is going to help them too. So that's very minimal impact down there with many routes down there. But I don't think there's many other pending traffic projects that I'm aware of it.
Okay. And then a really quick plug, because you have the first responders softball game coming up in September.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You know, this event and all, and we'll have to do a special session and talk about it. But I mean, this community is amazing. You know, last fall was the first game with sort of Washington County Fire versus Washington County, you know, Law, which was Blair Police and the Washington County Sheriff's Office, and That one was just we did it word of mouth, and by word of mouth there was over 100 people there. And then this spring we did it again, and we did it over at the Little League for a fundraiser for them, and it grew again. And after that, we had the Youth Softball Association approach us about doing a fundraiser, and we said let's do it. And we've had more teams. Douglas County's getting involved. I see this event expanding tremendously because about several Douglas County fire departments have their own softball teams.
Oh, wow.
So they got really mad that they had to condense into one. And but
because it's 3 games or four teams,
two games each. So the kickoff the night, Washington County Fire. So that's going to be the Herman, Kennard, Calhoun, Arlington. Those 4 departments will be taking on Douglas County Fire, which I believe are going to be made up of Irvington, Ponca Hills, and Bennington. They shut everybody else off, but so right now it sounds like those 3. They'll kick off the night at 5:00. Gates open at 4. Up there at the softball complex, up at the sports complex. So those 2 kick it off, and then Blair Police and Blair Fire. So Blair Fire, we're going to field our own team. We got enough guys that were interested enough and sort of ramp up that Blair Fire and Blair PD rivalry, get it going. So it'll be a good time. They'll play about 6:15. There'll be a small intermission in there, and then the losers of the first 2 matches will play, and then the winners will play following that for a little trophy. All sponsored, going back to everything. Every dime you spend out there goes to the Softball Association, helping out everything they need for that fourplex to keep the
the Blair Youth Sports Complex, keeping it going.
And I mean, look at the tremendous success that the high school girls and the softball team has. So it starts young age. So let's support the youth.
They're going to be playing this week, so we'll be it's already time. So again, we'll keep you informed on all that stuff. Well, again, a lot of great information. Go to blairne.gov and be able to learn more or stay on top of it, and we'll keep you going as well. So thank you for coming in today.
Thank you, like always.